morning. Welcome. Come on in. Thanks so much for joining us as we celebrate the 54th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. The challenge tonight, or this morning, I should say, is the same as it's always been. 3 local high school teams compete for points by answering questions in math, science, history, a few other topics as well. So let's hear it again for our 3 teams: North Ridgeville, Olmsted Falls, and University School. Welcome. Let's have some fun. Now, after every show, we're going to update our leaderboard. And at the end of the season, the top 3 teams will be back to play for the championship and a $6,000 grant from Nordson. So let's get the game started with the lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We subtract 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. And the match will start, every team, with 100 points. Everybody ready to go? In this round, all your answers must be exactly 5 letters long. 5 letters. He was the 2nd president of the United States. Olmsted Falls.
Adams.
That is correct. The mythical centaur was half man, half this animal. Olmsted Falls.
Horse.
That is correct. This is the last word of our national anthem. University School.
Brave.
That is correct. This is the capital city of Egypt. North Ridgeville.
Cairo.
Correct. This is your body's hepatic organ. University School.
Liver.
That is correct. He was the first American astronaut to orbit the Earth. North Ridgeville.
Glenn.
That is correct. This word describes an angle measuring less than 90 degrees. University School.
Acute.
That is correct. This is the smallest mammal. Answer. University School.
Mouse.
Shrew. Shrew. This is the 2nd planet from the sun. North Ridgeville.
Venus.
That is correct. And for our final lightning round question, we go to the Akron Summit County Public Library. Here's Executive Director Pam Hickson-Steverson.
At the Akron Summit County Public Library, we have a vast collection of books, both physical and digital. You can borrow anything from a current bestseller to The Divine Comedy by what 13th and 14th century Italian poet?
Olmsted Falls.
Dante.
Dante is correct, and that's the end of that round. Way to go. Good job. All 3 teams. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this.
Nordson is honored to sponsor a program that celebrates academic excellence. We're a global industrial technology company with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. We donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profits to charity every year. Over the past 30 years, the Nordson Corporation Foundation has donated more than $100 million, and our employees have volunteered more than 100,000 hours. And now, we're pleased to support the legacy of Academic Challenge. Thank you all for watching, and the best of luck to all the participants.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like more information about any one of the schools that appear this season, scan the QR code you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen with your phone, right on your cell phone. That code will take you to news5cleveland.com's Academic Challenge page. We have links for every one of the schools that appear this season. All right, let's play Hot Picks now. One at a time, I'll ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we hear the questions, though, we're going to meet our members from our teams. Let's start with North Ridgeville. Elliot, you're the captain. Congratulations. What do we need to know about Elliot?
Hi, I'm Elliot. I'm in the band at my school, and I play guitar independently.
Well, that's great. Alyssa, welcome.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I do track and taekwondo and participate in Model UN and Key Club.
Fantastic. And Maggie?
Hi, my name is Maggie, and I participate in my school's marching band and student council. And thank you to our coach, Mr. Macher.
There you go. Thank you for being here this morning. All right, we're going to head down to Olmsted Falls now. Captain David, we're going to pick from envelope 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which one would you like?
They'll take 4.
Number 4. Okay, North Ridgeville, these questions just for you. Set? Here we go. You might illustrate a poem on immortality with a picture of what legendary bird that rises from its own ashes and now names the capital of Arizona.
Phoenix.
That is correct. After the bottom dropped out of the witch hunting market, Salem merchants invested in ships and harpoons for hunting what largest mammal?
Whale.
That is correct. Keeping its distance at 8 million miles, a moon named Phoebe orbits what planet 6th from the sun?
Saturn.
Saturn is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. Which of these terms describes a substance that absorbs moisture from the air?
Hygroscopic.
That is correct. Many American college students apply for Oxford scholarships named for what British philanthropist who made his fortune in Africa? Answer?
No answer.
Rhodes, the Rhodes Scholarship. She called in her soul to come and see. That's the last line of what 1937 novel by Zora Neale Hurston?
No answer.
Answer is their eyes were watching God. That's okay. We go back to the monitor. Here is your math question. Taking positive roots, evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
1.
That is correct. The first president to appear on television was what 32nd chief executive who appeared when he opened the 1939 World's Fair in New York?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That is correct. Nice round there, North Ridgeville. Alrighty. Our second team today comes to us from Olmsted Falls. David, you're the captain. Congratulations on that. What do we need to know about David?
Hi, I'm David. I'm a senior at Olmsted Falls, and I'd like to thank our coaches, Alexandra Flanagan and Amanda Regudo.
Fantastic. Elena, you're up. Good morning.
I'm Elena. I'm a senior at Olmsted Falls, and I'd like to thank our team.
There you go. Hi, Logan.
I'm Logan. I'm a senior at Olmsted Falls, and I'm planning on studying physics in college.
Way to go. Well, welcome to all of you. And for your questions, we go to Grayson, the captain of the university school team. Envelope 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3. 3. Okay. Olmsted Falls, these are just yours. Set? Here we go. 7 billion years ago and 17 billion light years away, a collision took place between what two entities so dense not even light can escape?
Black holes.
That is correct. Among the myths of ancient Greece is the story of how what winged horse sprang forth from the blood of the dying Medusa?
Pegasus.
That is correct. Benjamin Lundy, an 1830s abolitionist, was a member of what pacifist religion to which William Penn had belonged?
The Quakers.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. Which of these is the atomic number of tritium, an isotope of hydrogen?
1.
That is correct. Mexico has not changed significantly in size since what 1853 land purchase by the United States?
The Gadsden Purchase.
That is correct. Washington Irving used what literary device involving repeated letters or sounds when he referred to the headless horseman, the Hessian of the Hollow?
Alliteration.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression if x equals 5.
6.
That is correct. And that was big because this is for the bonus points. What 23rd president served in the Union Army during the Civil War, but later failed in his effort to protect voting rights for African Americans? Answer?
Hayes.
Benjamin Harrison was the answer, but nice round, Olmsted Falls. All righty. Our third team comes to us this morning from University School. Grayson, you are the captain of that team. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Grayson. I play soccer, and I'd like to thank our advisors, Mr. Millett and Ms. Hutchinson.
Very nice. Hi, Nick.
Hey, I'm Nick. I'm a senior at US, and aside from academic challenge, I am also a chess player.
Way to go. All right, Theo, you're up.
I'm Theo. I play squash, and I want to thank our alternates who came out today.
Awesome. Okay, for your questions, we come back down to Elliot, the captain of the North Ridgeville team. Envelope 1 or 2?
1.
Number 1. All right, University School, these questions are all yours. Set? Here we go. Part of director Alfred Hitchcock's classic movie North by Northwest takes place on what South Dakota mountain carved with the heads of 4 presidents?
Mount Rushmore.
That is correct. 1785 saw the first international airmail when 2 balloonists delivered some letters after crossing what body of water separating Britain and France?
English Channel.
That is correct. According to myth, one of the rivers of Hades consists of what phenomenon that had been given to man by Prometheus?
Fire.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. This is the formula for wolframite, an ore of what T-initialed element whose atomic number is 74 and whose symbol is W?
Tungsten.
That is correct. In 2013, Honolulu Harbor was faced with mopping up a spill of 1,400 tons of what sweet, syrupy substance, once part of the triangle trade.
Molasses.
That is correct. After writing a satiric essay recommending the children of the poor be used as food, what Anglo-Irish author gave readers more to chew on with his novel Gulliver's Travels?
Swift.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here is your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
24.
24 is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. In 1814, the positions of Secretary of State and Secretary of War were both held by what man who would later become our 5th president? Answer?
John Quincy Adams.
James Monroe is the answer, but a heck of a round, University School. In fact, heck of a round for everybody. And we'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Today's judge from Cuyahoga Community College's history and political science teacher, it's Joseph Sismadia. Joe, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate the time you take to come on down. All right, and we welcome you back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we start the next round, we're going to take a look at the scores so far. We have a tie right now for second place with 280 points, University School and North Ridgeville, leading the way by 20 points in a tight one, Olmsted Falls with 300. All right. Time now to go head-to-head once again in the picture-perfect round. Every correct answer here is worth 20 points, but for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. This is for all three teams now, so hands on the buzzer, eyes on the big monitor here. All set? Here we go. Portrayed sleeping and therefore not carrying his traditional bow and arrow is what classical god of Olmsted Falls?
Cupid.
That is correct. The letters in this phrase can be rearranged to name what Asian country where you can North Ridgeville.
Bangladesh.
That is correct. This llama is taking it easy among the ruins left by what ancient Indian university school?
Inca.
That is correct. Which of these expressions has a value of less than 1? Olmsted Falls.
2/3 divided by 5/6.
That is correct. Situated on both sides of the Danube River, you can see buildings of what Hungarian capital city? University school.
Budapest.
That is correct. This is the formula for quinine, an alkaloid long used to treat what disease carried by the Anopheles mosquito? University school.
Malaria.
That is correct. This nebula is part of what constellation that includes the stars Rigel and Betelgeuse? University school.
Orion.
That is correct. You may look to this issue of Cleveland Magazine to determine where to live, but your place of residence probably won't have a name like Monticello, which was
Jefferson.
University school.
Jefferson.
That is correct, and that's a quick round. Way to go, everybody. Nice job. Don't go anywhere. Our exciting grab bag round, which will determine today's winner, is coming up. After, of course, we mix it up one more time. Stick around. All right, welcome back. Let's say hello to today's school advisors from North Ridgeville. It's William Major. From Olmsted Falls, Alexandra Flanagan and Amanda Ragudo. And from University School, Peter Millett and Ashley Worthington. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Let's continue having some fun. Time now for our Mix It Up round. One at a time, I'll ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly in this round will receive 25 bonus points. North Ridgeville, you're up. All set? Here we go. No murder is safe. So see if you can find in this phrase the name of what part of the body also referred to as the thigh bone.
Femur.
That is correct. If you were upset about something, which of these words would best describe your state of mind?
Perturbed.
That is correct. You can muster 20 points by rearranging the letters in this phrase to name what warm ocean current that flows northeasterly across the Atlantic. Answer?
No answer.
The Gulf Stream. Gulf Stream. Okay, you won't be mad if you fill in the blanks to name what large fleet of ships that the Spanish sent against the English in 1588.
Armada.
That is correct. To which of these New England states should you travel to see the site settled by the Pilgrims in 1620?
Massachusetts.
That is correct. This is an excerpt from the last speech of what abolitionist condemned to death for leading the raid on Harper's Ferry?
Brown.
John Brown is correct. Way to go, North Ridgeville. Alrighty. Olmsted Falls. Olmsted Falls, all set? This question's just for you. Here we go. Hidden in this sentence is the name of what scientific instrument used to measure air pressure?
Barometer.
That is correct. If you're given a reprimand, you are receiving which of these?
Rebuke.
That is correct. You can gain 20 swell points by rearranging these letters to name what national park that includes Old Faithful?
Yellowstone.
Correct. Here you have every other letter in the last name of what American suffrage leader whose face has appeared on a $1 coin? Answer is Anthony, Susan B. Anthony. If the Spanish-American War were to be known by its date, it would be called which of these?
The War of 1898.
That is correct. This was one historian's description of common sense written by Revolutionary War pamphleteer
Thomas Paine.
That is correct. Nice round, Olmsted Falls. Alrighty. University School, it is your turn. All set? All for you. Forget punctuation and find in this phrase the dark-colored halogen with atomic number 53.
Iodine.
That is correct. Which of these persons could best be described as reclusive?
A hermit.
Correct. The letters in this anagram can be rearranged to name what major mountain system of eastern North America?
Appalachian.
That is correct. You'll find the word man in what word that names the 1863 proclamation that ordered an end to slavery in the Confederate States?
The Emancipation Proclamation.
That is correct. Which of these scientists is known for finding hundreds of uses for the peanut and the sweet potato?
George Washington Carver.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. These powerful words come from a 1965 speech by what African-American leader who changed his last name Little to a letter of the alphabet?
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X is correct for the bonus points. There you go. That's the end of that round. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round coming up after this.
To stay up to date with everything academic, visit us online at news5cleveland.com/academic challenge and watch full episodes on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and other devices.
We've got a good crowd this morning. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we get on to our final round, we're going to recap the scores right now. In third place with 400 points, North Ridgeville. In second place with 440 points, Olmsted Falls. Leading the way right now with 525 points. The team from University School, but hold on. Anything can happen now. It's time for the grab bag round. In this free-for-all, each correct answer is worth 30 points, but a team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Again, this is for all three teams. Everybody's hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor when we need it. All set? Here we go. Birds announce their territory to male rivals by singing loudly at what time of day named in the first line of the Star-Spangled Banner? Olmsted Falls.
Dawn.
That is correct. The only modern city located on two continents is what largest city in Turkey? University School.
Constantinople.
That is correct. That is correct. Could have been Istanbul or Constantinople. It's doubtful anyone would want to be compared to what fictional miser from Dickens' story A Christmas Carol, Olmsted Falls?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
That is correct. These flowers are found throughout what French Polynesian island where the artist Paul Gauguin, Olmsted Falls?
Tahiti.
Tahiti is correct. Choice. The allotropic form of carbon used in the decolorization of sugar is charcoal, graphite, or lampblack? Answer is charcoal. Over a century before the Wright brothers created the first airplane, what French brothers developed the first hot air balloon? Answer is Montgolfier. The pawn and what other chess piece are the only pieces that can be used in the opening move of a chess game? Olmsted Falls.
The knight.
That is correct. Forget moths and rearrange the letters here to name what New Hampshire city, where the 1905 treaty was signed, ending the Russo-Japanese War, University School.
Portsmouth.
That is correct. Approximately 80,000 people are classified as belonging to what Native American tribe that included Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull? Olmsted Falls.
Sioux.
That is correct. What is the smallest number of sides a polygon can have? University School.
3.
That is correct. What American novelist became a war correspondent after the success of his war novel, The Red Badge of Courage? University School.
Crane.
Answer, yes, Stephen Crane. You are looking at what mineral that is the chief commercial source. Don't answer. We stop the game there. We go right to the scoreboards. In third place this morning with a total of 400 points, the team from North Ridgeville. In second place with 590 points is the team from Olmsted Falls. And winning today's academic challenge with 645 points, it's the team from University School. Congratulations. Heck of a game, everybody. Be sure to join us next time. We'll feature teams from Kirtland, North Olmsted, and St. Joseph Academy. Thanks for watching this morning. I'm Rob Powers, and we'll see you right back here next week.